Hi all! In this video, we're going to talk about how my husband and I manage our money and just some of our basic principles about our money, just so we have a starting point for when we start actually doing those budgeting videos. So let's get right into it. So the first thing to know about how my husband and I manage our money is we share a lot of the same principles as Dave Ramsey. Now, I'm sure you've heard of him, and I don't agree with everything he says, and sometimes I don't like the tone, the way he speaks to people, but he has some good points and his foundations are good. My husband and I actually took his principles of finance class in high school, their curriculum. So that's where we got introduced to him, and it's really helped us as young adults and striking out on our own as to how we manage our money and how we go about saving and things like that. Another principle that we have, not just because of Dave Ramsey, but just our lives in general, we believe that once you are married, your money is not like yours and his, it's y'all's money. It's we. Just because when you're married, you're supposed to trust each other, and that includes with finances, and you're supposed to be working toward the same goals together. And for us, it makes sense to do that with joint everything. All of our paychecks go in the same account, all of our expenses come out, we each have a debit card to our accounts, and we openly communicate about money, where it's going to be saved, and things like that. We also believe that if you're single, I don't know about him, but for me, if you're single, protect yourself. Not everyone out here is good. So when you're single, I would, in my opinion, you should keep your finances separate. Just because even if you're living with your significant other, and that's fine by me because, 21st century, you should keep your finances separate just in case something happens, and to protect yourself, and so that you can further your own goals, because that person you're with might not have the same vision for the future as you do yet. Of course, that can change as life goes on, but you don't want to put yourself in a sticky situation. So the biggest thing that we believe is no debt. Now, yes, it's a little hypocritical right now because I have student loan debt from college. A little backstory, I go to MSSU, which is a University of Missouri, and I was in the honors program my first year and a half there. I ended up having to leave the honors program because we moved to North Carolina, and you can't be an honors and be a distance learning student. But I have student loan debt from when I had to live in the dorms. Now I can make a ton of excuses. I used to have seizures, so I couldn't drive till I was 19. I didn't have a vehicle. My family, unfortunately, wasn't in a position to support me in that way by taking me to and from school. So living in the dorms was my option, and also it was very, we'll say recommended by the honors program that freshman honor students live there. I'm currently a senior in college. I have 2 more semesters and then I graduate, which is super exciting for me. But yes, so we believe no debt, and I have about $5,200 in student loan debt that I plan to have paid off by December, if all goes well, and it will. Will it into existence. And then another thing we like to do is we do a zero-based budget. And right now I'm using the Every Dollar app for our monthly budget. I do have a budget by paycheck workbook on the way. I'm so excited for it to be here. And we'll still do zero-based budgets with that. But with the Every Dollar app, it does that for you. So it tells you how much money you have left to budget, and then you put it where it goes until it says it's an Every Dollar budget, which is a good feeling. And having a zero-based budget just means that every dollar has a purpose. It has a job. Even if that job is like $30 of fun money, which is what my husband and I generally do on normal months, and $500 of groceries, or $54.99 for our internet, every dollar has a job, and any extra money goes into sinking funds or debt or something like that. Speaking of sinking funds, we love those. I love those anyway. I have a whole Excel spreadsheet tracker where I track my sinking funds. And we do everything electronic because it's just simpler for us. Getting the money out is kind of hard. we bank with USAA, and they don't have a lot of physical locations. They have ATMs, but it's just not the same, and I don't want to deal with that hassle all the time. So we do electronic, but hopefully I will be able to do some cash stuffing with fake cash, just to show you guys visually where we're at with our sinking funds, along with showing you our tracker and how it's going. So I'm excited about that. I love Excel. And we believed in having sinking funds for all sorts of things. We have a sinking fund for Christmas travel because we go to Missouri for Christmas, and that costs a lot of money. And we have sinking funds for car maintenance because we do have 2 older vehicles completely paid off, blessed. But we pay for the maintenance and things on those, and they do break every so often. Like right now we're having car issues, but it's worth it not to have a car payment. I've never had a car payment, and I don't ever want to have a car payment. And we have sinking funds for other things like co-pays and medicine and things like that. Just everyday things you know are going to happen, but you're not quite sure when. You just need to have the money saved back. And we can do a whole video on how to set up sinking funds, what sinking funds you might need if you guys are interested in that in the future. So let me know down below if you are. Another thing about the future is we want to buy a home eventually. Now, we're not sure how long we're going to do military life, and we're not sure how long we're going to be not in Missouri, but we know that we want to go back one day. And we want to build a house, like my dream house, or buy a house. So we have a plan to save for that once we get a few smaller savings goals knocked out of the way. Once I start my actual career, that will be a lot easier because I'll actually be bringing in a good income. So buying a home is one of our huge goals, and I hope that you guys will stay along for that journey because it'll be a long one, but it'll be so worth it. And then speaking of long journeys, retirement. So we do currently contribute to retirement, and I know that is against what Dave Ramsey says, but we're really young. I'm 21 and my husband is 20, about to be 21. And we believe that the younger you start, the better it is. Now, we don't do a full 15% because we do have other things to take care of, and our income is fairly low, so we need that extra money. But I think we contribute 10%, and then the government like matches 5% or something or another. So we do contribute to retirement already, and we will continue to do that throughout our financial journey, just because better to start young. We've all seen the charts where someone starts at 18 and someone starts at 25 and the difference it makes. And we just want to retire happy and be able to support our children and help others and give. And so retirement's a big deal for us. And like I mentioned earlier, how we manage our money like hands-on right now is on a month-to-month basis. We do the Every Dollar app, like I mentioned, and it works great, but I just want to be more hands-on. I want more detail, and with me, actually, exciting news, I'm getting a job soon. I start training on Monday, so I'm very excited about that. Very excited to have another stream of income. So be here for that. So like I was saying, I like to be hands-on, and that's why I went ahead with the Budget by Paycheck workbook. But other than that, we just track our expenses in the Every Dollar app as they happen. I do scan receipts, so as soon as the expense comes, as soon as I get that receipt, I open up my phone, I put it in the app, that way I can't forget about it. And then about once a week, I'll go into our bank account, make sure I've accounted for every transaction, because sometimes my husband will buy something and just forget to tell me or something, you know, life happens. And then once I've done that, then I will go through and I will balance and make sure that my bank account actually has what I think it does in it. So, and I haven't seen a lot of YouTubers do this, and I've always been curious how they do it. But I plan to show you guys how I reconcile my bank account to my budgeted numbers, because sometimes they're off. Usually I have more money than I thought I did somehow. I don't know how, but good for me. But it would be bad to be caught with less money than you think you have just because you missed out on something. But when you reconcile, it gives you a chance to find those mistakes and figure out where you went wrong, or if you can't figure it out, to allocate that extra money elsewhere. That way you're still doing that zero-based budget. So I plan to show you guys my reconciliation process, and it is not cute, but it is so helpful and really eye-opening because it shows me how much I have left to spend for the month and all of that. So I hope you guys would look forward to seeing that. And I just want to be clear that all of these opinions and views about money and life, they're my own. I'm not saying that anyone has to live the way we do or anything like that. I'm simply here to share my journey with you guys and to document it for myself, to show myself how far we can go and how far I can go, because this is personal for me, you know? It's my face, it's my story out there, and I'm excited to share it. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Put down below what else you'd like to see from me if you have any questions about our life or anything. And I hope you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!